Hello everyone, this is Crystal Putoff and ready for another episode of What Color Should I Put on My Egg? What I'm going to do in this series is something a little different, and I'll be using a little different techniques that I'll also demonstrate with video rather than just showing them as snapshots. But I'll show them as snapshots also. So what are we going to do in this video? I have 3 eggs here. They're all chicken eggs. A light brown one, a white one, and then this one that's a very dark brown. I believe it's a copper Moran egg. And you may picked up, I drew these lines quite darkly. And the reason for that is this one I'll just start with that natural color of the shell, and then I will etch and then add color. These two, I am going to dye them in a dark color. This one is going in black. This one I think I'm going to put in dark green. And then we're going to do the initial lines in this dark brown color. This will be black and this will be dark green. So the initial lines will be in that color, which is why I drew the lines rather darkly, so that I will be able to see them once I dye them. Then after I get all the initial lines on, I will we'll have to see what happens. This one I'm obviously will have to etch it, but these two I may do a washback. I may have to do an etch to get back to the color that I want. And then we're going to start adding some lighter layers of colors using some where we're dipping it in the dye, and then some other techniques as well. So let's get started. Okay, making some progress on these. This was the light, like tannish color. I dyed it dark green, and I have all the wax on it. This was the white egg. I dyed it black, as the wax on it. I used white wax. It kind of shows up. There was black wax mixed in it, so it's kind of gray, but under my light I can see it. And this was the copper Moran, the dark brown egg, and I have the wax on that. I did change up, they're not exactly the same design on all of them. This one being green, I did more plant-like designs on it, kind of going with what I talked about, that the color enhances your design. So they kind of go back and forth. Because it was green, I put more plant-like things on it. This one being more of a stained glass, it's got more angles on it. And then this one has kind of a little bit of each. It's got more angles, but anyway. So next steps. This one I'm just going to rinse to hopefully get a lighter green shade. This one I will be washing to take it back to the white, and if it doesn't go all the way to the white, I will etch it slightly in cleaning vinegar. And then this one, I haven't decided if I'm going to dye it black and then etch it, or if I'm going to etch it and use black for the final color. I still have to think about this one some more. I don't know. I keep going back and forth on what I want to do. That one requires a little more thought, because I know I can get at least 2 different shades of brown, but I think it needs something else. I was thinking red, but now I'm thinking black, and I haven't made up my mind yet, so you'll just have to hang on and see what I decide. All right, so I'm working on the 3 eggs, and this is the egg I dyed yellow, or I started with black, I dyed it yellow, and then I just wanted a little bit of green in here. So I'm covering this area now with green, using my electric Kiska, and I'm going to fill in these little leafy things here that I drew. And I'll show you. So then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in orange. And so Ukrainian gift shop orange. Ukrainian gift shop orange does not have vinegar in it. And the reason I'm going to put it in that next is you can see like right there, I just used this paintbrush, dipped it in the green dye, and then painted the area, let it sit for a minute, and then kind of blotted it off. It got outside the lines. That's okay, because after I put it in the orange, because the orange does not have vinegar, you won't see that green. It'll all be an even color. So I'm going to do the orange, and then I think I'm going to do red, and then I will wash this back again, and I am going to, in this area here, I'm going to put purple because I want a light purple. I don't want a dark purple because this is black, and if it's a dark purple, you're not going to notice it. So I want that in between here. So I'll be doing the paintbrush technique again. And then this area, I think, is going to be 2 shades of blue. So that's where I'm at with this one. The other two, this is the brown egg. I have waxed all of the areas I wanted to be this shade here. So I've waxed all those. Now the next thing I'm going to do is going to be the final color. Not a dye, but I will be etching this again in the cleaning vinegar to get hopefully a very, very pale brown, maybe white. We'll have to see how brave I get. And the last one that I'm working on, this one where we dyed it, started with the dark green. We did a lighter green, and then I did this turquoise color. What I am going to do next with this one is I'm going to start with just trying to wash it back. So hopefully I can get back to that beautiful light tannish pinkish color that was the original color of the shell. This dye has been on here for a few days, so I find the longer I leave the dye on, sometimes the harder it is to wash it off. So we'll see. If that doesn't work, then I will lightly etch it to get the color off and hopefully still be able to preserve the color that was the original color of the shell. But the point is with these three, they're all going to end up with a very light background as opposed to kind of the dark backgrounds we have been doing. So I'm going to get back to work on this. And next thing I'm going to bring to you will be the step probably where I'm going to take the wax off. All right, I'll be back. All right, here is our current status. This was the one that started out kind of a pinkish color. I washed off the dye, and it's not the same color as when I started. I think part of that reason is because there is still a little bit of a green shade to it, and the green over the pinkish is giving us this kind of a look. So with this one, what I'm going to do now is like a 10-second dip in the vinegar to see if I can get off the, see there's little like green dye spots. I'm going to see if I can get that off and see if it will take it back to the pinkish color. If not, I'm okay with this color. This is a pretty color. Okay, this has all the color on it. This color here is turquoise, but anything that's not covered in wax is going to be white. So this one is going to get etched in, etched in the cleaning vinegar. I'm going to wash it first, and then I'm going to etch it to make sure I have removed all of the color for it. And then this one, once I remove, get all the color and it's off of it that isn't covered with wax, there's a few other things I need to do on this one that I will show you later. And now this is the one that was the dark brown. I etched this one for 2 minutes. I etched it, and then like this is a lighter color of the brown. I etched it for 2 minutes. This is the color it is now is a little bit lighter than this part that's covered with wax, but not light enough. What I did was I kind of scraped off a little bit here on the bottom with my fingernail to look at it, and there wasn't quite the contrast that I wanted. And where I really want that contrast is like in this area here and this area here. I want that part to look a lot lighter than the part of the cross that's covered with wax. So I'm going to do another 2-minute etch in the cleaning vinegar with this. And then I'll come back and hopefully we'll be removing wax. We'll see. Okay, wish me luck. Okay, we have our 3 here done. No, well, not done. I have to take the wax off. So this was the one that started out the light pinkish color. I think I got it as close to the original color as I could get, but I do think this color is going to look beautiful next to the colors that are hiding under the wax. This is the one that has kind of the stained glass effect. Originally, I was going to use like a pale blue color over the whole thing, but I've changed my mind and I'm going with a white background because I don't have a white on any of these others, and I wanted to show you what that looked like. And this one, I know it looks like brown, but it is lighter than what's underneath this wax. It's been in the cleaning vinegar for about 6 minutes total. I'm just not comfortable going any further and I also don't know if I would ever get down to a white layer. So I'm ready to put these in. I'm going to put them in the oven to take the wax off. I use this thing. It's pretty gross looking, but pie plate. Because all of these eggs have had an etch to them, I am going to use some oil. Cheap stuff, don't break out the good olive oil for this. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove my plug here. Okay, there's one. There's 2. And there's 3. I always remove the plug so that as the egg heats up and expands, it doesn't pop. I've never had that happen, but I know people that has happened to. Okay. All right. So now you do not need a lot of oil. What I am doing is I'm going to stick my finger, well, okay. Just stick my finger in there, and then I'm going to rub it on the egg. If I had a little squirt bottle of oil, like some of my friends do, I would have squirted it on there. But I was afraid if I tried to pour it in my hand and then put it on there, I'd end up with a whole bunch of oil all over the place. And I'm going to put these all 3 in the oven at the same time. What the oil does is it helps the wax slide off easier, and especially you can use this on any egg. It doesn't have to be just an etched egg. You can use it on one that you haven't etched. But on ones where you have etched, like see this area here, sometimes the wax can get caught up in those little areas. I don't have a lot of real detail areas on here, but if you had like the netting or something, the wax could not slide off as easily. So this is going to help it slide off. So here they are. They're all ready to be popped into the oven. The oven is set and warming up at 200 degrees. I'll put those in there and I'll come back and show you the final pisanka. I'm very excited. All right, here they are. Very excited. Love the way these turned out. So here is the one that had the light tan pinkish color. I went with greens on this one, and it really turned out beautiful. I'll skip over to this one. This was the one that was the copper Moran. So this color right here, that was the original color. I tried to use a lot of it. And then I had dyed it black and did a little bit of the black here. And then I etched it to get this lighter shade from that. And then etched it again and got that shade. So I did get the good contrast that I wanted. Very excited about that one. And now this is the one that I called the stained glass version. My yellow is not showing up very well on the camera, but there's a little more yellow in that center than appears. But here's what I wanted to show you. So here's the bottom. And again, this yellow isn't really showing up, but it is on the camera, but it is showing up here. See, I have that little triangle there. Well, kind of forgot to put it up here. So what do you do? Well, I used to use a Sharpie, and I would touch up lines. But I've now gone to using either a Posca pen or a micron pen. And in this case, I'm going to use a micron. I am going to use the black micron 02, and I'll just show you how I'm going to do this. So the egg is cooled down, and I'm going to attempt to do this standing up. Okay, there. No, I'm gonna have to sit down. Okay, so I will do that, and then I'll do that. And now again, there is more of a yellow there that you can't really see on the camera. Okay, so I will be using this, and I'll go around and put those on there. I do let it dry, you know, a little bit before I move forward. But anyway, so this one had a lot of different colors on it. I did the yellow, I painted in the green, I did orange, red, and then I washed it back. I did the I painted in the light purple, and then I dipped it into the very light blue, and then I did turquoise, and then I etched it back to the white. And take the wax off. Blech. So I just have to, I want to fix these, and then I will, I'm going to let this dry a day before I varnish it, but that's the only other step I have to do. So there's another episode of what color should I put on my egg. Hope this helps you in your egg journeys and in your creative endeavors. Thanks so much for watching.